Well, the 75th is pretty special because of thinking about the history and all the people who have been involved with the university. A lot of people don't realize that we're the second longest accredited college of business in North Carolina. Before Fuqua, before Wake Forest, we had the accreditation in the 60s thanks to Dr. Jim Bearden and Dr. Broom. So a lot of good things happen that way. So just to look back and reflect on all the years from Dr. Browning, Dr. Bearden, Dr. Ure, and Dean Nicewander has really been special just to be a part and to know the last three very well.
Well, there's a lot of memories here at East Carolina, but most importantly at the College of Business, I think getting involved with various organizations and especially Alpha Kappa Psi. I joined Alpha Kappa Psi my sophomore year, and that's where I met my best friend. That's where I learned my various professional skills that couldn't be taught anywhere but in school, in different organizations and after school activities, just like by hearing seminars and various activities on campus.
Oh, the best memories are all about people. Some situations, some special times, a Peach Bowl victory, a victory over Miami, but it's really more about that than athletics. It's really about the people who were there and part of that experience. To see David Garrard sitting in a classroom and taking a decision science class, and to know him and know people outside their other areas, but in the classroom and inside the clubs and student organizations. I had the chance to work with all 9 student organizations in the College of Business over the last 10 years. And to see how they've grown and how they've developed leaders within their associations and from each other, that's been the most special part.
Well, growing up, not many people know, but I was a very, very shy girl. And throughout the College of Business, I made it a point my sophomore year to get involved. So getting involved within the different organizations throughout the College of Business really helped me through not only interacting with folks, but I mean, just the other day my boss told me she really admired the fact that I can go and talk to various people whenever, wherever, and growing up I couldn't do that. So I think the College of Business definitely made that impact on my life.
One thing I think is so important is that people see that they are important and see the role that they have, that they can do, and see the potential that they have. I think that it's important so much that people do reinforce each other, and so defining the people that will reinforce and be part of a support system is so critical. So if I can do that through student organizations or through faculty encouragement or through alumni involvement, as so many of our alumni become mentors informally with our students, then that adds to the ability for an individual to see their importance and that they're not just a number, they're not just somebody in a classroom. So it's really important that they see that. The other part is I really want them to understand the global reach of what they can do and where they may live and where they may travel. And as I've traveled with students to Australia and I've traveled with them to Holland and over to Germany, it's just to see the students that have that experience just changes the perceptions of what can happen.
I'm getting ready to come up on my 10th anniversary from my graduation from the College of Business, and to think that the College of Business has shaped thousands of business leaders in Eastern North Carolina, throughout the country and the world in 75 years. It's an amazing accomplishment, but the most interesting and coolest part about all of that is what it will look like 75 years from now. Technologies have changed, the curriculum has certainly changed over 75 years, and it'll look vastly different 75 years from now.
Did my research, went to a couple of other schools, and they gave me, I guess, questioned me why I wanted to pursue a business degree, a master's degree in business. That was not, in my original field or degree of education. And I met with Dr. Nicewander, who was the Associate Dean. Through that meeting with him, that he educated me about the College of Business and the flexibility of their program. the graduate assistantships that they offered, and it didn't take me but a few minutes sitting with him and his encouragement that ECU was the place I wanted to go to pursue my MBA.
One of my best memories is actually an entire summer. I was able to spend a summer on a study abroad in Germany with 12 College of Business students. Some were undergraduate, some were graduate students, and one professor. During that time, we toured multiple manufacturing plants, including a Mercedes-Benz plant. We also met with a lot of Americans that were there working for either American or European companies. And it was really interesting to talk with them about how the culture was different and getting used to that culture and the differences in how those businesses would operate. So that's probably my best memory, was that entire summer, the friendships I made in that trip and all the different things that I was able to experience and start earning my MBA when I was really on the other side of the Atlantic.
Best memories at the College of Business would be the graduate assistantship. In that role, I was able to meet so many new people that were coming through the program or that had interest in the program, or who were applicants that wanted to learn more about that program. So I was able to provide the information like Dr. Nicewonder had provided to me to say, hey, you know, this program's flexible and here's what it has to offer. And the assistantship also allowed me to, you know, be a part of the orientation efforts and volunteering with the professional programs to help organize commencement ceremonies and the people that are graduating. Watching people earn their degrees and walk across the stage and seeing people like Mary Beth get hooded, it motivated me for the next semester because I was a couple of semesters behind Mary Beth.
I'll never forget my graduation from my master's program at ECU in the College of Business. At graduation, alphabetically, I was placed beside someone I really didn't know, but I did know already had a job at BB&T. I was still waiting to hear back from them and actually had an interview the following Monday. Now, nearly 10 years later, it's a very close personal and work colleague, as well as Tara joined us a year later.
Well, my experience in the College of Business, I've learned a lot. I met JM in a management class. He came in and sat beside me. I can remember we were sitting on the back row about midway of the classroom. That same day we got assigned a group project, and he asked me to be in this group, and it kind of worked out. And we've bonded ever since, and we've grown to be great friends, and just the business has led up from that.
When I met Jacob in the business class, I always, try to sit there and fill the class out, look around, see who looked like they would be studious and, make good grades and stuff like that. So that way we could, get in groups and study, and that way I could do the best I could do, and we could have a good group. So I saw Jacob sitting in class in the back, and he was all, together. He took good notes. He got his first test grade back, and it was an A. So I knew from the get-go he'd be a good partner. He came from a small business background. I knew that if I went to college, I wanted to get a degree in management because I thought I was going to come back and manage my father's business. But getting into college and learning new things and kind of finding out really who I was and really what I wanted to do, I kind of changed. So I knew I wanted to do something kind of on my own, and I met Jacob, and we got talking. We knew we wanted to do something together. We didn't know it was insurance at first. But we knew that with our personalities, with him being, the finance type person and me being, I guess, the go out and get stuff type person, we knew that, those type of personalities would mesh well together. Being the exact same, we would have butted heads, but we're two totally different people, and we use each other's qualities and we build off of them. And I guess that's why I wanted to be in the College of Business, and wanted to to go into management.
I feel like the College of Business overall, they take you through all the steps and the classes and curriculums that you need to when it's all said and done, and you take that last policy class to really put everything in, to come as a whole, that it really shows you that all these aspects are used in every company, and that one day when you get out there, you may be working in a department that uses the finance, or you may be working in the accounting department or the marketing department, but all those are used in a business every day. And it's just, that class really summed it up for me and Jam. We talk about it all the time, that class really brought everything to let us see the full picture of how a company or a business works, and I just feel like that really helped me and him in our business here to know all the aspects that you need.
A lot can happen in 75 years. I mean, look at the economy today and look at the economy 75 years ago. Things change, and I think the College of Business is evolving with the changes that are being made in the economy today. I mean, we had business ethics, which was not something that people had to worry about 75 years ago. But the College of Business has evolved, and they're now teaching that, and we use that in our business every day. I mean, you look at the major corporations that have fallen because they got away from morals and values and ethics. And I feel like that's what we try to base our business off of. I mean, not just for the customer, but also for the company. I mean, we look at both aspects, and you have to do your due diligence to both.
It really started when I first came to the school. I've done some research, but I truly didn't know what I was going to experience. But I got the sense that this was a good place to be, to grow up from an education standpoint, and get the necessary knowledge to get my first job. But I really didn't know how good it was going to be. And I remember my first several months. I had been into computers at that time a little bit before, had a little bit of experience, and tried to connect, and was hanging around in the lab a fair amount, and connected with Dr. Kearns pretty quickly. And we found that we had a common interest, and we had a lot of fun. I remember to this day, whenever we would get a new piece of equipment that really was leading edge, and for some reason Dr. Kearns was able to find the funding to buy that new equipment that would make it even better to do our work as students. I remember one time in particular, he came in and he'd gotten a computer called a PC Limited. And most people probably don't know what a PC Limited was at this time. But he bought it from a college student actually, that made it in his dorm room, and his name was Michael Dell. And that was actually one of the first computers that eventually became Dell computers.
Nearly 40 years since I showed up first. It's a longer story, of course, but the majority of my life spent right here. That's fairly unusual, and particularly in an administrative position. As deans change, often another administrators change, but somehow I managed to last through all the ones, the last 4. So I guess I've seen a lot of it. I know things happened before I got here, but they weren't as much a College of Business as they were teaching teachers to teach business. So yeah, I've seen a lot, and so it's meant a lot to me. But it's 75 years. You know, what will it be like in 150 years? I think about that too, because with Paul we investigated many technologies, and he helped me so much. But I know that next year will show us some new things, and then there'll be new things, and I like to be around to see a good bit of it. But the college will continue to change as it always has.
My best memories here in College of Business, well, I would say for us, it really was here in this lab, not because of the computer work, but it really was the central hub of all the work that we were doing. A lot of teamwork, worked with a lot of great colleagues. We were doing studying, late hours, and for some reason, one way or another, we were able to find a way to have access to what we needed even in the late hours. So both during the undergraduate and the graduate studies, this was the hub of our life.
Those years when Paul was here were the most dynamic. Personal computers, to pick one out, he was here for that. He was not here, he tells me today, for our earlier punch card era back with the old machines. So he came right at the time we were really going strong. And when we came to this building, which I was able to help plan. The best thing that happens to me these days is when students come up to me, especially if I don't remember them necessarily right off the bat, and remind me of things that I said to them or what we did or what they did. That's a great joy.
It's a funny story. Mr. Ward probably doesn't even know all of what he did to help me out. But when I was a senior in the accounting major, he reached out. He was then the CFO of Unify. He reached out to the local audit team in Greensboro and said that he wanted somebody from East Carolina to be on his annual audit. I was lucky enough to be the one who got asked to sit out a semester of school and get that opportunity. Because of that opportunity, I got a job offer from Ernst & Young, and since then been lucky enough to make partner and now serve as our office managing partner for the Charlotte office, which has over 500 people.
Well, it seems like to me I've been around 50 of the 75, and I guess in that regard, it's been a lot to watch it grow and prosper. I'm very proud of the graduates from the College of Business. Mark's a good example. There are a lot of successful young men that have been through the College of Business, and that makes me proud. And to know that we're celebrating the 75th anniversary of it means we have accomplished a lot in 75 years, especially from my perspective when it was a small college.
It means we've been here a long time, which is a great thing. It means we have more alumni out there. We're getting more people to really help hire more of our future pirates. And really, to me, as I sit back and I think about just the stability, I mean, when you think I believe it's 5 deans we've had over those 75 years, it just shows us that, look, it's a lot of stability, there's a lot of commitment, and we've been here for a long time, and hopefully we'll continue to be here into the future.
Some of my best memories of being involved with the College of Business, I guess it's the people that I've met there. Like I say, being involved some 50 years, it seems like 50 years, knowing the deans of the College of Business, and being able to sit down with them and talk about their dreams and their aspirations for the university.
Well, I met my wife there, so I have to say that's my best memory. But Lily's just building that network with other students, and really, I even look at the professors, and to this day, I talk to them probably every week. I'm talking to somebody on campus, and to me, it's having that network where I know I can always reach back and make that connection to get involved and really to help out as much as I can on the university. I mean, it's impacted me tremendously. I think every opportunity I have today is because of folks like Mr. Ward, as well as what the university gave me with the foundation of the skills that they provided. At the end of the day, they gave me the foundation, the building blocks to go out and be successful and compete with any students from any other university. And that's what I love the most about East Carolina as I look back, is it gave me that foundation to be competitive in an ever-changing world from a business side.
I'd like to encourage the people that live west of Raleigh to come to Greenville and see what we have there and explore. And I think you will find that we offer a quality education and an environment that's very enjoyable and an enjoyable college experience. Sometimes just people don't put us on the radar screen, and I think if they put us on the radar screen, they'll be very pleased.
It's terrific to see the success that any of your students have had and will have. That has been a great part of my life is getting to witness all of these young people, just kids really in some instances back when I was teaching and as dean, to see the success that they've had. So Mr. Chalk, of course, is certainly one of the exemplars of success because he's had a great run in his academic life. He was a professor at one time and moved from that into banking and made that a stellar career. And so that's been a delight to be able to see the success that these folks have had as they've tracked through East Carolina and to witness them in making major contributions in society.
Of course, when I was in the college of business, Dr. Bearden was the dean. But not only was he the dean and wandering around the hall all the time, but he was also a professor. And I can remember to this day the salesmanship class that Dr. Bearden taught me. Even today, one of the exercises he gave us, which was to help us understand that communications is so important to salesmanship. You can't be a great salesman unless you're a great communicator.
When I look back at the kinds of struggle that we had to achieve accreditation, gain a master's program, get it accredited, have a Beta Gamma Sigma chapter, all of the things that the Graduate Management Admissions Council, all of those were highlights really as you look back. They were stepping stones. And we've always been part of the stepping stone for the advancement of the institution, and to see the success that the institution has, and more than that, the young folks who have been through here, to have, as my former student here, now seeing him as a trustee of this institution. I've had a lot of folks who've gone on to good positions, but I've never had one to come up, and be one of the trustees. So that's a delight to see what they've been able to accomplish and what they've been able to contribute to society.
Well, I think we all appreciate tradition, and there's a great tradition in the College of Business. Also, when in my business career and as I've been in various different kind of organizations, it's interesting to run into fellow graduates of the business program. And so we always have something in common, even though they might be older than I am, or there are not many around that are older than I am. But I also run into young people that are connected to the College of Business. It's great to have that kind of association with people that have been through a similar program and understand the value of the College of Business.